G'day, this out and about's a little bit different because I'm not out and about, I'm in the house. But it's come about because on a couple of Facebook pages I've seen and websites and that sort of stuff, I've seen people asking in their caravans, what's the difference between a 15 amp and a 10 amp and why is my caravan 15 amp and can I plug a 10 amp lead into my caravan, etc. So to do that, we're going to look at power generally and have a look at it as it might relate to the caravan. Firstly, I'm not an electrician. Secondly, I'm an electronics engineer. A bit of a boof. I've played around the place, and my advice here is just guidance in nature. So please accept it as that. So in your house, you're going to have power points, much like mine. These are 10 amp power points because that's what you generally have in houses. And people use these for their kitchens and sinks and microwaves and coffee machines and all that sort of stuff. And occasionally you want to plug things in. So let's say we have a toaster. We've got a toaster here, but what sort of draw is that going to have on the power that we've got? Now I know the watts of this toaster, and they're 14,500 watts. It's written on the back, 14,500 watts. To work out how many amps that draws, we divide that by the power, which is 240 volts. So watts divided by volts will give us the amps. And in this case, that's a 6 amp toaster. So when I plug it in, it's going to draw 6 amps out of the circuit. Now looking at the kettle, slightly different in the fact that it's got 2200 watts is what it works at. And you can see that on boxes when you buy things, when you look around the place, look at heaters and all that sort of thing, you want to plug in fans, you can see the watts on the boxes. So 2200 watts divided by 240 gives us a total amps of 9 amps. So this kettle will go into the PowerPoint 10. Fine. The toaster will go into the kettle, fine. When it comes to things like, oh, well, let's plug everything in, we'll have a kettle and we'll have a toast, people can use a power board or they can use the same power points, double power points and that sort of stuff. Now if we plug that power board in to our 10 amp outlet, and we've got a 10 amp power board, as you can see on the side, it's got an override switch that cuts in at 10 amps. So much like the switch on the wall, it's 10 amps. So if we plug the kettle into this, and we plug the toaster into this, what do we say? We've got 6 amps from the toaster and we got 9 amps from the kettle. Funnily enough, that gives us 15 amps. Now that 15 amps is over the rating of the power board. It may not cut off straight away as the kettle heats up and things like that, but it should, according to the numbers on the back of the units, this unit should pop here on the side with the safety switch at 10 amps because we're trying to run 15 amps out of this power board. So what's different with that concept and the caravan? Just because we stick wheels on our power board, our caravan, doesn't make much difference as far as the loads. So you're plugging a kettle and your toaster into that, we're still running 15 amps out of what was going to be a 10 amp power board. That's why the caravan is upgraded to 15 amps. And you may even have separate circuits on it, that sort of stuff. But you can see the effect of plugging things in. Now, if you try and run an air conditioner with that, you might find that things start cutting out. So what does a 15 amp plug look like? On the outside of your caravan camper, you'll find an inlet that looks very much like this, with a flap for waterproofing. But you can see on the plug there, that pin that we've got there on the earth, the vertical one, not the two at the top, the bottom one, the vertical one, is much thicker or broader than a normal plug that you might see on your kettle, on your toaster. That's because this is 15 amps. 15 amps going into the caravan. And that then allows you to run your different appliances and things like that. That's what it looks like. So don't muck around with it. Keep your 15 amps for the caravan, your 10 amps for inside the house and inside the caravan. But the 15 is what gets you from a 15 amp outlet at a house, at a caravan park, and allows you to plug your appliances in on the inside of the caravan, on the external features as well. So anyway, enjoy that, and if you need any further advice, talk to an expert or someone who knows what they're doing rather than someone like myself. Catch you later. See ya.